Welcome to 8.6 video lesson 2 of 2 for IM1. There are 4 boxes for us to talk about, and the topic is linear pairs and vertical angles. So let's dive right in here, okay? So a linear pair is exactly what you think it sounds like. Two adjacent angles are linear pairs when they're, this is the important part, okay, when they're non-common, when their non-common sides are opposite rays. So let's talk about that for just real quick here. Okay, what does that mean? So two adjacent angles, so angle 1 and angle 2, these are adjacent angles. They make a linear pair because their non-common sides form opposite rays. So this is a non-common side, and this is a non-common side. And because of that, because they are forming opposite rays, angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair. Another way to think about this is to just think about, look for a line, okay, and then look for an angle that or a ray that breaks up those lines, so angle 1 and 2. That's kind of how I do it, but the true definition is as stated above, okay? So that's what we'll be working with for this part, and along with vertical angles, okay? There's everything you need for box 1. Okay, box 2 is all about vertical angles. So the definition that we're going to be working with are two angles are vertical angles when their sides form two pair of opposite rays. Okay, so let's talk about that one real quick here. So let's take, for example, 3 and 6, right? So 3 and 6 are vertical angles. The way I like to look at this is I like to think about it, see which ones just go directly across from each other. And same thing here, 4 and 5, they go directly across from each other. But in terms of using the actual definitions, right? So two angles are vertical when their sides form two pair of opposite rays. So here's a side to angle 3. There are two sides to angle 3. And here are two sides to angle 6, right? And so this side and this side form opposite rays, and then this side and this side form opposite rays. So that's the true definition of it. But for me, what I always do is I just look for two angles here that are opposite each other and call them vertical. So in this case, we have 4 and 5 are vertical from each other, and 3 and 6 are vertical from each other, okay? And that's everything you need for box number 2. Okay, let's do an example together. Box number 3 says, identify all linear pairs and all vertical angles in the figure. All right, so let me zoom out here. So let's do linear pairs first, okay? So we're looking for angles that create a line. So this right here is a line. This is a straight line, okay? And the two angles that can create that are angle 4 and 5. So we can say angle 4 and angle 5 are a linear pair. Okay, and are there any others that are linear pairs? Yeah, it sure looks like it here, right? If I did this, if I looked at this line right here, this straight line, okay, I could do angle 1 and then angle 4. So we could also say angle 1 and angle 4 are linear pairs as well. I'll just abbreviate LP for linear pairs. Okay, let me erase all that for you now. And then it says to identify the vertical angles. So let's change up the colors here. Let's go green. So which ones are vertical angles? Remember, we're looking for two angles whose opposite sides, or whose sides make opposite rays, rather. So a vertical angle here could be angle 1 and 5, right? Because they're across from each other. And they make opposite rays. So like the sides of this angle and the sides of that angle form opposite rays. So we could say angle 1 and angle 5 are vertical angles because they form opposite rays. I don't think there are any more on here, so that's all I can see. So 1 and 5. All right, there's everything you need for box number 3. Okay, box 4 is the last example here in this little video. It says two angles form a linear pair. Okay, so that's some good information right away. Two angles form a linear pair. The measure of one angle is 5 times the measure of the other angle. Find the measure of each angle. So let's go back to this. Okay, two angles form a linear pair. So what we can say is that means I've got a line, Okay, and then I've got the breaking of a line here, and I'll call this one angle 1, for example. 1, I'll call this one angle 2, all right? So there's angle 1 and there's angle 2. So both of them together form a linear pair. Then it says the measure of one of the angles, the measure of one angle is 5 times the measure of the other angle. Okay, so what that is saying is, like, let's call this angle x degrees. That means this angle is 5x degrees, because it's 5 times more. So that's what that means. So 5 times the other angle. Find the measure of each angle. Okay, so here's what I know. Since 1 and 2 make a linear pair, I know that angle 1 plus angle 2 has to equal 180 degrees because it makes a linear pair. All right, so now I know angle 1 is worth 5x, angle 2 is worth x, and that has to equal 180 degrees. So this right here is 6x, right? So 5x plus 1x is 6x. 180 degrees. Let's divide both sides by 6. Divide both sides by 6. 180 divided by 6 is 30. So now I know that this angle here is 30 degrees, all right, and the other angle is 5 times 30 degrees, or 150 degrees. So the two angles that I was trying to find are a 30-degree angle and a 150-degree angle. And you might see examples of that on your skill checks. All right, that's everything you need for this last lesson.